All right, you've made it to episode 3. Oh, and that means something. It means something to me that you've made it this far. It also means that you're taking your anger seriously and that you might be at a place where you're kind of sick of yourself. It's often what my clients describe to me, actually, right before they book that first therapy appointment or they come back again after a long break, is they've gotten sick of their own stuff. And that's okay. It just means that you care more about surviving these hard moments and you actually want to understand them. You want to show up differently in them. You want to show up as the cool, calm, collected mom that you always thought you'd be. So today I'm going to try to give you something you can use. It is something small but practical based on how your nervous system actually works, not how we wish it worked. Also at the end, I'm going to tell you about something that I made. It's an invitation to maybe go deeper into this work. And so we started this series with a story about a stool and my son's apprehensive look. And we talked about why good moms get the angriest. It's about depletion, not personality or character, or that you're not trying hard enough. We talked about what the rage is trying to tell you, that it's probably a need going unmet, that your nervous system is pretty maxed out, and a message that's maybe been trying to get through to you. And so I know you're asking, what do you actually do in the moment? Kayla, like, what do I actually do to stop myself from screaming? What do I actually do when I am the angriest and I really want to throw some shit down? Okay. And first, I want to tell you why most of the mom rage advice or tips or tricks or hacks doesn't work is because counting to 10, taking a deep breath, walking away, these aren't bad ideas, honestly. I do use them. I do them. But they assume that your prefrontal cortex, the rational, thoughtful, perspective having part of your brain, is still online when you're triggered. And it's just not. It's just not. When you have flipped your lid, you cannot access that rational part of your brain. You are in full on reptilian. You are full on, I am being attacked by a bear. Okay. And that is the whole point. When you're in fight mode, flight, freeze, and fawn, your thinking brain has temporarily stepped outside of the building and your survival brain is running the show. And truthfully, you cannot try to logic your way out of this. The part of you that does logic is not online right now. What you need is a body-first intervention, something that works with your nervous system, not against it, something that signals safety before you think about it. And so you might call this a mindfulness technique, you might call this a therapy exercise, but it is a part of a physical action that interrupts and tells your nervous system that you are safe. You can stand down. This is not a threat. We don't have to do them in any particular order. You might find one or two within this that work with your body. And so this isn't like a step 1, step 2, step 3. There are about 5 things that I suggest, but they're definitely not a you have to do these in order kind of thing. Okay. And so my tip number 1 is before you try to manage the anger feeling, we want to move the energy. And so I will share with clients that sometimes we need to match that energy, not try to calm down that energy. Can you recall a moment from your childhood when you really wanted to jump or run or be wild or feral and you were told to calm down, sit still? That is what we are associating with anger now. And so when we feel angry, we try to shove it down. We try to make it quieter, make us even more palpable in that moment. So sometimes we actually need to match that energy. We need to jump. We need to dance. We need to walk to another room. We need to shake our hands out. We need to clench and release our fists. The adrenaline in your body needs somewhere to go. We need to give it a physical exit before you can try to regulate emotionally. Regulating your nervous system and regulating your emotions are 2 totally different things. So that's my first tip. Move first, think later. My second tip is to ground through your feet. I teach this one to moms of newborns who have to do a lot of walking, a lot of rocking, a lot of pacing. And so this is also good at other stages of life, but in particular, I found it helpful for that stage. You feel the floor beneath your feet. You press your feet into the ground. And I'm going to tell you, this isn't woo-woo. It feels woo-woo. It's going to feel stupid when you do it. But it is sensory input into your feet, and it is one of the fastest routes back to the present moment. You can also drop into your throat, the way that your voice is coming out of your throat, the loudness, the speed, the cadence of it. When you are in a rage spiral, You're often not actually here in your body. And so feeling the floor can bring you back to yourself. Number 3 is to find one thing that's okay right now. This is not gratitude. Good Lord, do not tell me to have a gratitude practice. And it's certainly not toxic positivity. But if you can look around the room and find one thing that's not on fire, one thing that is okay today. And this is not about bypassing the feeling. I really, truly want to try to stress that. It is about grounding yourself in something that is outside of yourself, that is maybe a bit more positive, a bit more constructive, a bit more perspective giving. What I find when I'm working with my clients one-on-one, and we have a pretty good working relationship, is it's often the root of something like this is that they're telling themselves a story. They're telling themselves that their kids are going to be sociopaths, or their partner is a cheating asshole or a lazy asshole or a piece of shit. And they're stuck in a story. And so when you can look out, when you can gaze out and zoom out to something in your environment or in your life that is not on fire, that doesn't make you see red, sometimes that can give you the perspective that you need. The 4th thing, when you are so close to losing your mind and you think that leaving is going to do more damage than staying, I want you to really consider that. My 4th tip is that you are allowed to leave the room. You are allowed to leave the room if you're mid-yell. You are allowed to say, I need a minute, and come back. You are allowed to excuse yourself to the bathroom, to the closet, to the car, so that you can save yourself and your kids from that moment of explosion. Your kids watching you take a moment to regulate is amazing, amazing emotional regulation modeling. And step 5 is a bit of a bigger ask. It's asking you to identify what you might need and then doing that something for you, for yourself. And so this one is a bit of a prevention thing. And so maybe you've lost your shit, or maybe you can feel it approaching. This thing that you maybe identify doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's a 10-minute walk around the block. Maybe it's, hey, I need you to watch the kids and I'm going to go do this thing. Maybe it's, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to journal, or I'm going to sit down and I'm going to drink my coffee and I'm going to hold this boundary. I'm going to embody this boundary because I deserve this. I deserve this. I am in service of my family most of the day, and that I'm allowed to take 5 minutes for myself. And so the 5th thing is something: drawing, writing, journaling, drinking a coffee, doing something that is just yours, not in service of your family, not in service of your partner if you have one. It's yours, totally yours. And this is where I'll be honest with you about my own emotional landscape. The times I am most prone to rage almost always are the time I've gone the longest without doing anything for myself. For me, it's a creative depletion. I haven't had time to sit down and make art, feel my feelings, be mindful, have a moment of quiet, something for myself. Those are the moments I am most prone to being angry, yelling, snappy, snippy. And so that reset, those tips, maybe they work, maybe they don't. But they're here for you, an offering, if you want to try them. And of course, the long game in all of this is building a life where your tank isn't always empty, where you're not white knuckling your way to bedtime every night, where the stool scraping across the floor doesn't send you into a panic mode like you're being attacked by a bear. Because you deserve to have had something for yourself in the last 48 hours. And so the things that feel harder than the 5 things that I've named today is most of these things require some form of accountability from somebody else, and asking for help, saying no to things that deplete you, letting some things be done badly or not at all. Treating your own well-being is non-negotiable, not as a reward when you finish everything else first, as the first step. There's a reason why the oxygen mask on the airplane is such an amazing metaphor, because you really do have to be able to put yourself first so that you can put your kids first. If you are well, I believe this, if women and mothers feel well, the ripple effects of that go out to society. They go out to society. They touch everyone, right? All of the research around mothers and, you set the tone in your home. Your emotional regulation is the thing that regulates the home. It's true. And it's an incredibly heavy burden. It's an incredibly heavy burden. And I believe that you can do it. You can do it. You can learn to rewrite patterns, to break cycles, to regulate, to, stop scrolling, whatever the thing is. I want to end this, and I want you to hear me very clearly. You deserve to create a life where you don't have to escape. You can find your regulation in your current scenario. Nothing needs to change. Because you deserve a life where you're not just running on vapors and the leftovers. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground across these 3 episodes. You've heard why good moms rage out and why rage is showing up in the first place, and what you might want to do in the moment and beyond the moment. If something particular landed for you and you found yourself nodding along or crying or texting a friend, I hope that you're able to let that go deeper. This is the thing that I'm going to invite you into is I created a little guide called Good Moms Get Mad. It's kind of like a guided journal, kind of like a field guide, and it's $7, okay? It's like cheaper than a Starbucks coffee, all right? And it's designed to maybe sit on your bedside table, or maybe it doesn't leave the PDF files in your phone, but it's meant to be picked up in those 5-minute windows when you have them. I'm going to be real with you, though. It's not therapy. It's not a course. It is a journal. It's a guide. It's something to return to when maybe the hard moments come, which they will, because you're a human raising other human beings. So you can find it in the links below if you're interested in that. But if you're not ready for that, totally cool. You don't have to buy anything. This series was just meant for you to experience. And if it did find you at the right time, I'm Kayla Huszar. I'm a registered social worker in Canada, and I use expressive arts therapy to move moms through the highs and lows of what they're experiencing. You can find me at kaylahuszar.com or on Instagram. And if you need somebody to walk you through some of these things one-on-one, that's the kind of support that you need, I'm also here for that. I can be that person for you, or I can help you find the person who will be that person for you. So, show up, feel deeply, and stay curious. I hope to see you in the next thing that I may offer. Take care.